Banjo-Kazooie is legendary. The game's a masterpiece. It'll always be my favorite video game, not just from childhood, I mean ever. Call it Stockholm Syndrome because this is the first game that really scared the bejesus out of me. That game over scene where Ugly Tootie comes waddling out of the machine, look at that shit, it's gross. I published an article recently on my website ranking all 9 of the main worlds, but after playing through the game again for the sake of this video, I've changed my mind on quite a few of them, including the top spot. I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I wrote that, but that's the great thing about opinions. They can change, they can evolve. I am sure I'll end up talking more about this game and how much it means to me in the future, but for this list, we're sticking to a clean ranking of each of the 9 worlds found throughout the intricate Gruntilda's Lair. Now, I adore Gruntilda's Lair. It's one of my favorite hub worlds in any game, but it doesn't count here as its own main world, so we're not ranking it. Spiral Mountain, great tutorial zone, doesn't count. Shout out to Grunty's Furnace Fun. I loathed this part as a kid, but it's not so bad now that I know this game to such an unhealthy degree. Once again though, doesn't count. Today we're talking the real meat of the game. All the main 9 levels of this game ranked worst to best. I want to quickly state that I actually love every single one of these levels, but just like your kids, you do have favorites. So let's get into it. Here's every world in Banjo-Kazooie ranked worst to best. Look here, if you've played through Banjo-Kazooie before, this should come as no shock to you. Rusty Bucket is always dead last. Now don't get me wrong, I do still enjoy this level. After all, it's Banjo-freaking-Kazooie. But it's kinda like saying you love your whole extended family, you know? You got your Uncle Rusty always showing up late to Sunday dinner, smells like a burnt muffler, decided to bring Snacker the Shark along with him to frighten the kids, what are you gonna do? This is the penultimate level before you reach the end of the game area, and during any playthrough, it's the only level to me that starts to feel a little fatigued. I do enjoy the motif here, but it starts to feel a little repetitively familiar by this point in the game. Like we've seen this kind of murky, grimy territory before, but it was better executed in Clanker's Cavern much earlier on. Feels a bit like a step back after all the exciting and magical worlds that preceded it. I think every world in this game can uniquely stand on its own with the exception of this one. Rusty Bucket Bay feels like that one level that could have been scrapped if you get me. I always felt like this could have been saved for a director's cut or some Lost Worlds DLC we never got, and in its place we could have had something with a bit more flair, something with a bit more distinguished, preferably grander vibe, something with a little more zhuzh, you know, maybe like a towering sky palace with shifting cloud platforms. How about a medieval castle? Look, I'm not saying we needed Banjo-Kazooie in space, but something with a little more swag than Rusty frickin' Bucket Bay. I mean, even the name sounds like a place you'd catch something. I'm not talking about no collectibles either. Nothing in this entire game is ever so frustratingly difficult until you reach this level. Which brings me to this. Let's talk about that engine room. It kinda sucks. It's not much of an issue nowadays with the rare replay Xbox version or the Switch to revert save whenever you want. But back in the cartridge days, trying to 100% this level without falling to your doom in that godforsaken area was such a nightmare. You miss a jump in that engine room, that's it, you're done, capiche? Compared to the rest of the game, it just feels like a sudden difficulty spike. I know I dreaded this level as a kid. I think I may have actually given up here for a bit, not realizing how close to the end I was before taking a breather and pushing through. And you will, but it's gonna test your patience. That toxic water? Chews away at your health twice as fast, so don't swim around too long, just grab your items and get out of there. Alright, before I keep ragging on Rusty Bucket Bay too much, I gotta give credit where it's due. The level's atmosphere, while not the most appealing, I still enjoy it enough for what it is. That rusty, hazardous, industrial tone is certainly a mood, and Rare's attention to detail is on point with all the machinery clanking and steam hissing. I like all the little secret rooms to discover by breaking all the windows throughout the ship. There's a few fun jiggies here, but there's still that one in the propellers behind the ship that made me lose all my progress for the level as a kid and I gave up entirely. But that's just a design flaw from the original version, you know? So yeah, Rusty Bucket Bay isn't winning any beauty contests, but it's still got character. Gritty, stubborn, and surprisingly unforgettable. It keeps you guessing and tests your patience like no other spot in the game. Parts of this level are a real drag, but when you finally nail it, that victory feels earned, not handed out. But who am I kidding? You're probably revert saving every 12 seconds like I do nowadays. So that's good old Rusty Bucket Bay. It's rough around the edges, but it's still part of the family. I know this is gonna sound weird since I placed it second to last, but Mumbo's Mountain is actually one of the strongest opening levels to any game I've played. Yeah, I know. Technically, Spiral Mountain is the intro zone, but let's be real. This is where the adventure really begins. Even though I did rank it down here, it's truly a testament to how well crafted I think the rest of the worlds are in this game. The bar is that high. And really, as far as first worlds go, Mumbo's Mountain does everything it needs to, and it does it with grace. It eases you in with just enough challenge to feel like you're playing the game and not just learning it. You got jiggies tucked away in clever spots and a layout that encourages you to explore without ever feeling lost or overwhelmed. You step into this world and immediately start grabbing everything in sight. You pick up your first Jinjo and think to yourself, the hell is this thing? While the game gently reminds you to keep using your backflip jump to reach those higher spots. This level also introduces Kazooie's Talent Rod, which becomes a go-to move for the rest of the game. Not just because it's handy, but because you can get around much quicker that way. Sure, you could grab your first Jiggy and bolt straight for the exit if you're the kind of person that's allergic to fun, but honestly, why would you do that? Getting 100% completion in this level is such a cakewalk. This is also the first level where Bottles teaches you some core moves, like firing eggs, both in front of you and behind. I know, it's weird. It's a simple mechanic, but it's one you're going to rely on heavily throughout the game, both for solving puzzles and dealing with enemies. These early lessons set the foundation for everything that comes later. Plus, you absolutely don't want to miss out on yours truly. Sure, Bottles helps you level up your skills, but Mumbo Jumbo, the shaman himself, is the real game changer. Early on, my dude turns you into a friggin' ant, but only after you collect enough Mumbo tokens scattered all throughout the level. That termite form is now your golden ticket to climb up to places previously inaccessible. Mumbo's voodoo magic helps elevate this game from already great to even better. Trust me, this guy's got your back all the way through. He can even extend his powers outside the worlds, helping you snag a few of those secret grunty jiggies hidden throughout the lair. Mumbo's a real one. The whole level has this light Aztec ruin vibe. Stone structures, totems, ancient patterns, but it's presented in a way that feels inviting and playful, not intimidating. It's mysterious without feeling overbearing. Haha, get it? It's funny, laugh. The level supplies you with just the right mix of mechanics to get you hooked and yearning for more. It's simple, effective, and a perfect first step into the heart of Banjo-Kazooie. I think Mumbo's Mountain really sets the tone for what the game is all about. Lighthearted, funny, and occasionally a little hostile in that classic Rareware style, but it's all delivered in such an approachable and breezy fashion. It teaches you the rhythm of the game without holding your paw. Haha, this guy with the jokes. It's not funny. Mumbo's Mountain does all of this while still giving you plenty of room to poke around, experiment, and just enjoy yourself. It's a strong first step into a world that only gets better from here. Clanker's Cavern is the third world in the game, and come to think of it, fittingly so. After the upbeat adventurous vibes of Mumbo's Mountain and Treasure Trove Cove, this level kind of feels like the Bear and Bird took a wrong turn and were tricked into cleaning up the septic tank. That's not a jab either. This level's got a pretty solid concept behind it. Clanker's this massive mechanical whale shark thing who functions as Gruntilda's personal waste grinder. He's chained to the bottom of this grimy, flooded cavern, just barely surfacing for air while taking care of all of her dirty work. It's pretty sad, actually. He's clearly not evil. He's just stuck down there, coughing up sludge and waiting for someone to cut him a break. Clanker's not just there to look pretty either. He's one of the most bizarre and memorable characters in the game. It's wild how much personality they packed into this metal sea monster with dead eyes and a garbage chute for a mouth. Just the fact that he's not hostile, they didn't make this giant robot shark the bad guy, he's just miserable. Makes him weirdly sympathetic. Like you kind of want to give the guy a raise, maybe some WD-40 or something. I like the change of pace with this stage. Yeah, it's bleak compared to the rest of the game, but it's got vision, you know? This level knows exactly what it is. Tight, claustrophobic, and straight up filthy. I think the only thing keeping it on the back half of this list is the fact that there's a ton of swimming here. Like a little too much sometimes. And while the swimming mechanics in Banjo-Kazooie are fine, they're also not the greatest either. All due respect. It just breaks the flow a little too much for my liking. I love the hectic vibe towards the tail end backroom area, fighting off all those crabs and whatnot, plus those little platforming bits around the outside of the Junker Beast. But the literal heart and center of this level is Clanker himself. To this day, I'm not entirely sure if that's supposed to be torn flesh or not. I thought it was as a kid, and honestly, I'm sticking with it. Anyway, you get plenty of chances here to see what Clanker's really made of once you cut him loose from that chain. Helping Clanker out at the bottom of this is one of the most tense moments in the game. Real ominous vibes while you're scrambling to stay alive with those tiny air bubbles. Then you get inside and things only get weirder. Bottles is chilling in there for whatever reason, and the place is full of spinning metal ribs and organ-looking decor that'll slice you up like fresh prosciutto if you miss a jump. Thankfully, good old Bottles teaches you that golden feather immunity trick and you can tear your way through unscathed. You don't really use this ability a ton throughout the game, but it always feels satisfying in the small areas that you do. The level's layout does a great job looping in on itself. You're constantly circling back to Clanker, whether you're platforming across his fins, diving into his blowhole, or crawling around his insides. It's all super interconnected and it gives the world a strong central anchor. There's maybe just a little too much damn swimming here, but that's really my only gripe. Clanker's Cavern proves that Banjo-Kazooie isn't all just bright colors, sunshine, and catchy tunes. Although, Grant Kirkhope's score is as good as gaming soundtracks get, especially with how dynamically it shifts throughout each level. But this world shows the game isn't afraid to get dirty and unsettling, and that's all the more reason why it's such a classic. Swamp levels are a tough environment to get right. The color palette usually leans towards browns and greens in the worst possible ways. The movement often feels sluggish, and it's real easy for everything to blend together into a soggy mess. If you've played a handful of Souls games, you know what I'm talking about. Slow, poisonous, painful, uninviting. That being said, once in a great while we'll be blessed with a delightful outlier. That diamond in the rough here is Bubble Gloop Swamp. From the moment you enter, it hits you with that fun Saturday morning cartoon vibe. Bottles is waiting near the start to hook you up with those Kazooie long legs, and just like that, you're ready to hop around the bayou like a frog late for a swamp jazz gig. This world comes right after Clanker's Cavern, and now you're probably thinking, oh no, now the game is just gonna double down on being all gross and icky, right? But nope, Banjo-Kazooie pulls a total 180. Instead of dragging you deeper into the sludge, it throws you into Bubble Gloop Swamp, one of the most unexpectedly adorable swamp levels in gaming. The whole world has a surprisingly cheerful energy, like a swamp that's been made friendly instead of uninviting. Even the enemies feel more silly than threatening, and the whole place just feels fun to explore. It's a swamp you actually want to spend time in, not rush to get the hell out of. And that's pretty rare for a swamp level in any game. The layout of this map branches off into several different paths, giving you plenty of freedom to explore in whatever order you want. You're not locked into a strict linear route. Instead, you can wander, backtrack, and tackle challenges as they catch your eye. That Golden Gator egg feeding bit gives you all the more reason to really poke your beak around and check every corner. It's one of those little side tasks that rewards you for just being nosy. And in a game like this, being nosy pays. This open design encourages curiosity and rewards ADHD players like myself who like to check around every nook and cranny and turn over every stone. Whether you want to stick to one area or bounce between sections, this level flows naturally, making exploration feel smooth despite all that mud. Our boy Mumbo is back in action and ready to turn you into a tiny gator so you can safely crawl through the swampy waters without turning into piranha food. There's one challenge where you have to square off against Mr. Vile, a red gator with some serious anger issues, in a game of who could eat the most turnips. And you gotta beat him 3 times, with each round getting faster and sweatier than the last. It's definitely one of the most nerve-wracking jiggies in the game. Sometimes I swear he's cheating. But hey, 2 can play at that. Just revert your save. What's he gonna do about it? Although tough luck trying to pull that with the Simon Says Turtle Choir, you better not have the memory of a brain-dead goldfish here. Get familiar with your bright blues versus your dark ones. The first couple of rounds don't ask for much, but by the 3rd phase you start to realize just how bad at this you really are. It's okay though, you're not dumb, you're just old. You want your jello now, Grandpa? Aside from those few, honestly, most of the jiggies in this level are pretty easy, but also super satisfying. Even the time ones hit that sweet spot. It doesn't take you long to 100% this place, but it still leaves you feeling like you actually did something. It gives you a nice muggy playground to practice everything you learned so far without plucking your feathers too much. Bubble Gloop Swamp proves that even the dampest of places can feel welcoming when they're built with the right amount of style, attitude, and frog-fueled havoc. I've always been a sucker for desert-themed levels in games. Give me some crumbling ruins, a couple of cursed tombs, and some killer background music that sounds like it was recorded in one of them snake charmer tents and I'm in. Gobi's Valley delivers all that and then tosses in a disgruntled camel you have to abuse for hydration. It's dry, it's hostile, and it has no time for amateurs. I'd say the difficulty cranks up a grain or 2 around this part of the game, but never so much that you want to headbutt a sandstone block. There's a lot more time challenges scattered throughout these scorching wastelands. Most aren't too brutal, but I can't stand how the game makes you sit there and watch a door slowly creak open before you're even allowed to move again. Like, come on, my guy. Kazooie's got legs for days. She could absolutely scale that pyramid if she wasn't being held hostage by a cutscene. Instead, you're given just enough time to make it with those running shoes. 0 wiggle room and 0 forgiveness. But enough with the complaining. Gobi's Valley nails that perfect sense of archaeological mystery that makes desert levels so compelling. Nothing in this place is straightforward. You'll hit a switch and hear something move in the distance. But what? Where? Doors appear, platforms shift, and the game refuses to tell you exactly what just happened. You're left piecing it together, scanning the dunes for anything out of place. This level always felt a little more hectic than the other ones, like you should keep moving and not stay put for too long. If you're not talon trotting across this place like your life depends on it, you're cooked. Literally. The sand burns health, the puzzles are fast, and the mummies do not mess around. You've also got these giant severed hands that pop out of the quicksand just to smack you around and then disappear again. Those smug little bastards. Then you got Aladdin's magic flying carpets scattered around as platforming sections and to help you reach secret areas. Or you can just fly there, of course. The level dares you to go ahead and use Kazooie's beak bomb to snipe targets mid-air, which feels awesome when you pull it off and hilariously tragic when you miss and crash headfirst into a cactus. Either way, it's testing your confidence. Thread the needle or eat sand. Gobi's Valley don't babysit. And of course, we gotta talk about Gobi himself, the world's grumpiest camel whose sole purpose in this game is to get stomped on. You'll find him just chilling, vibing in the hot desert sun, just minding his own business, until BAM! You go up and body slam him until he starts spraying out water like a broken faucet, disturbs his peace, but you feed the plants. It's stupid as hell, but it's one of the best bits in the whole game. This isn't a one-time gag either. Gobi's a recurring character. Doing this bugs him so much he actually bails out of his own level, only to show up even more pissed off than before. It turns into this weird little side story spanning multiple levels, where Gobi just keeps getting more fed up with you, and somehow it adds a strange thread of continuity to a game that's mostly just a chaotic scavenger hunt. Let's not forget about that maze section underneath the pyramid. You know the one. Dimly lit, full of dead ends, and somehow always more stressful than it has any right to be. You're dodging mummies in tight corners with that ticking clock breathing down your neck like some cursed Egyptian escape room. One wrong turn, and you're toast. It's one of the few places in the game that genuinely feels like survival scramble instead of just another jiggy hunt. In fact, the whole level play is less like a typical barren and desolate desertscape and more like a cursed mummy theme park, full of traps, surprises, and enough spooky atmosphere to keep you on edge. There's also one of those matching image puzzles you gotta beat within a certain time limit, which wouldn't be so bad on its own, but the catch is you got clumsy crypt crawler playing grabsies with you as he's trying to throw you off your game. One of my favorite characters to run into is Jinxie. He looks like Banjo if he was a giant sphinx with a nasty case of the sniffles. You gotta help him clear those sinuses, which leads you into a massive chamber buzzing with flying carpets that let you reach the treasure hidden inside. It's a refreshing break from the desert madness outside, a slick decor that flips the whole vibe for a minute. Gobi's Valley is a wild ride through sun-baked ruins, tricky puzzles, and one grumpy camel who just won't quit. It's challenging without being cruel, mysterious without getting frustrating. So lace up those running shoes, hold your breath through the dust storms, and get ready to talon trot your way through one of the most memorable desert adventures in gaming. Sun-bleached cliffs, crystalline waters, and pirate-themed adventures. Treasure Trove Cove hooks you right in like a siren song echoing off the waves. As the second world in Banjo-Kazooie, it marks the game's first true open-air environment, ditching the training wheels of Mumbo's Mountain for something far more ambitious. Verticality, exploration, and a striking sense of atmosphere. This is where Rare really begins to flex its world-building muscles, layering traversal mechanics, enemy variety, and navigational challenges into a space that feels alive, sun-drenched, and deceptively simple. This is also where Banjo graduates from platforming preschool and earns his wings. Sure enough, our boy Bottles is here digging around. Not for treasure, though. He's here to teach you some sweet new tricks, and to glide, but with style. Learning to fly changes everything. The moment Kazooie takes off from a red feather launch pad as she's soaring in the skies, that island off the coast no longer feels like a distant dream. Now it's an open invitation. Now you can uncover all the secrets from above as the place unfolds like a pirate's treasure map. But hey, I'm far from done. Bottle Boy also hooks you up with that Kazooie-powered high jump. The one where she squats down and launches Banjo into the air like a spring-loaded backpack? It's a big moment for traversal, opening up ledges you couldn't reach before, and it's always, always super fun and satisfying to use. Then there's Nipper, the big angry crab who's basically the self-appointed bouncer of Treasure Trove Cove. This guy don't take kindly to visitors. He's basically a quick mini-boss, snapping claws and throwing shade. But once you poke him in the face enough to make him skedaddle, he retreats back into his shell. Inside isn't the typical boss lair you'd expect. It's whimsical, colorful, and completely at odds with the furious crustacean you just kicked out. Nipper's lair isn't just a prize. It's a reminder that TTC loves to mix danger and delight in the same salty breath. The level's packed with bite-sized quests that are about as absurd as they are delightful. First off, you got a pirate hippo named Captain Blubber who's bawling his eyes out because he lost his pirate gold. You dive into the shipwreck, grab the treasure, and bring it back like the good little bear you are. He hiccups with joy, and then he keeps the gold. No split. I mean, you get a jiggy out of it, but, you know, pirates will be pirates, I guess. Then there's Leaky, the talking bucket, whose name must have been prophesized. He needs you to plug him up with eggs. What, don't look at me funny. You fire bird eggs into his sentient bucket's mouth until he stops leaking. What? There's nothing strange about that. It's perfectly normal behavior. Once the bioplumbing is complete, he drains the pool and gives you access to one of the game's coolest secret rooms, a sandcastle with lettered floor tiles that also serves as the game's official cheat code room. But tread carefully. Mess with it too much and the game's more than happy to break the fourth wall and curse you for poking around where you shouldn't. Be careful what you wish for. Now before you start calling this island paradise, let's get one thing straight. This beach is crawling with cranky crabs and jagged-toothed treasure chests that are holding more grudges than loot. Maybe you need to get away from all that for a little bit and brave a climb to the top of the lighthouse. It sits right at the heart of the cove. Once you reach the top, you're rewarded with a jaw-dropping panorama. Waves sparkling like scattered jewels, the entire island stretching out below like a living treasure map. And for a moment, you feel like a king on a throne built of light, wind, and endless adventure. That all being said, Treasure Trove Cove isn't all sunshine and serenity. If you're feeling a little sick of the sand by now, get ready to eat those words. Because you can't talk about Treasure Trove Cove without shouting out one of the most iconic enemies, not just in Banjo-Kazooie, but I'm talking gaming history. That's right, the big bad fish himself. I'm talking about Snacker the Shark. This frickin' shark, man. Remember when I said this game was one of the first to give me nightmares? You need look no further. Snacker is easily one of the most recognizable parts of Banjo-Kazooie. Not just because he shows up so early in the game, but because for so many of us, he was our first real taste of pure gaming panic. That feeling of being hunted down, helpless, and just one wrong move away from the monster catching up to get ya. And hey, if you think Treasure Trove Cove is giving you enough now, just wait. There's a secret island lurking out there, but it's a prize for the real explorers who stick around till the end. Think of it as the ultimate X marks the spot waiting to be uncovered when the time is right. Until then, Treasure Trove Cove is a sun-soaked sandbox where every nook hides a story, every wave whispers a secret, and every breeze dares you to chase the horizon. And just like any good swashbuckling pirate tale, the real treasure is the adventure itself. Time to get spooky. Welcome to Mad Monster Mansion, where every single trick is a treat in disguise. Who doesn't love a good Halloween-themed level, especially when it's crammed into a game that otherwise feels like a sugar rush? I think that's what makes these kind of Nintendo games hit so different. Banjo-Kazooie is mostly upbeat vibes, googly eyes, and cartoon animals cracking jokes, and then BOOM! It's like somebody dropped a Hot Topic in the middle of a Toys R Us. Another one of my favorite games ever is the original Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, because it walks that tightrope between for the kids and genuinely unsettling. It's mild terror without being completely traumatic. I think when you can ride that balance, it hits a sweet spot that can be easy to miss. It's like you're enjoying the haunted tour, but there's something in the walls that lingers with you. That balance gives it charm and bite. Mad Monster Mansion doesn't go too far with this concept, but it still taps into the same weird little thrill we all have. The desire to be scared, just enough. There's always something fascinating about that line we toe between safety and spookiness. It's like, yeah, we want the ghosts and ghouls, but we also want a fun fright fest. Even though Banjo-Kazooie freaked me out as a kid, I still hadn't made it this far into the game before working through all that ugly 2D trauma. I actually ripped the cartridge out of the N64 and shoved it under my sofa like it was some cursed artifact. I think I was convinced it held evil powers or something. Dude, I was like 4. Eventually, once it collected enough dust bunnies, I fished it out, and by the time I made it to Mad Monster Mansion, I was in much better spirits. I mean, what's not to love here? Triple M has everything your little creeped-out heart craves. Every spooky trope in the book is packed into one big haunted theme park ride that's totally age-appropriate for the little skips. There's hedge mazes crawling with ghosts, a cemetery full of googly-eyed gravestones trying to body-check you into the afterlife, and dusty old wine cellars with vintage smacks to the face waiting inside the casks. There's Ouija boards lying around, creaky staircases, high clock towers, and a massive church with this organ that you get to jam on. Shout out to Mozand. But what really makes this level sing is how it pushes you to think differently about traversal. It's not just jump here, collect this. Mad Monster Mansion gets clever with it. You're solid snaking your way past sleeping spirits, falling through trapdoors, smashing windows to sneak into a series of locked rooms throughout the sinister playground. That old pile of bones look at you funny? Smack him down, he can take it. Can't get through that padlocked gate? Just break it down, you got this. It forces you to explore and experiment in ways earlier worlds didn't. Our boy Skullface Shrimp Gumbo is back with his greatest transformation in the entire game. He's turned you into a laundry machine. Nah, for real though, he's turned you into a pumpkin. Hell yeah. And this leads to one of my favorite moments in the entire game. You flushing yourself down a haunted toilet. Seriously, the hell's the matter with you? Even Grunty's in disbelief. What, were you raising a freaking barn? Still, this world is pure October magic. The kind that smells like plastic vampire teeth and scratchy drugstore costumes. It wraps you up in that nostalgic blanket of spooky season joy, back when your biggest fear was running out of daylight before you hit the rich houses for the full-size candy bars. The variety is what makes it so memorable. Each little section feels like its own Tim Burton-esque diorama, handcrafted, a little twisted, and still packed with that signature rare flair. Just like candy corns, some people seem to not care as much for this level, and others seem to praise it as one of the best in the game. I'm the latter in this case. When it comes to spooky, scary, lighthearted levels in video games, Mad Monster Mansion is truly the ghost with the most. Coming in cold at number 2, it's Freeze Easy Peak. A snow globe winter wonderland as heartwarming as a hot cup of cocoa by the fireplace. Stepping into this frosty world, you're met with a perfect blend of whimsy and danger. The icy slopes, the slippery slides, the snowmen that like to beam you in the face with snowballs. Yeah, real cute, guys. This level contains everything you'd want out of a Banjo-Kazooie level. Charming to the max, challenging, and packed to the brim with personality. It's where the levels get more vertical, the objectives more layered, and the magic of the game really starts to unravel like a Christmas present bow. Alright, that one was a bit tacky. At the center of it all is this massive towering snowman that acts as both landmark and level design anchor. He hovers above the whole place like a festive high-rise while these naughty, smaller snowman goons scattered around him torment you. Decked out with corncob pipes and 2 eyes made out of spite. These guys ain't here for no holiday spirit, they exist solely to smack you in the face from 40 yards away with Olympic-level snowball aim. Pretty impressive, actually. But now it's our turn. You get to make the best use of Kazooie's kamikaze dive bomb move and snipe those snow bullies right back. Peak satisfaction, am I right? A little better? No? You guys still there? Every jiggy, every note, every secret, every walrus. Hell yeah. This level nails the collectathon formula like it's got a PhD in it. Banjo's gotta help out a fellow bear in need when his kid's Christmas presents go missing. Poor Banjo's stuck freezing his ass off and getting clocked by snowballs in every direction while hunting down those lost gifts. But hey, it's all good, because we gotta spread Christmas cheer to all the children of the world. Being one of the best worlds in the game, of course Bambi McGumby's chillin' in this chilly zone, hence the whole walrus thing. He zaps you into a big waddling walrus, which, aside from being hilarious, is the only way to sneak past the level's cranky gatekeeper Woza, whatever. He don't take kindly to no bears and birds. But if you're one of him, roll out the red carpet. You get access to his cozy little cave, which doesn't just hold a jiggy, it's also hiding one of the coolest secrets in the whole game. That's right, key secrets. The kind that had every kid back in the day whispering rumors like it was playground gospel. Once you've taken out all those slushy meanies, soar to the top of the snowman's hat to find yourself a nice frosty prize. Then take a fun sled ride down the big snowman's scarf, or dive bomb the buttons on his torso. You get a jiggy, and you get a jiggy. Everyone gets a jiggy. Hey, it's Christmas. Speaking of which, what's Christmas without a star on top of the tree, huh? Go have yourself a fun little sleigh ride, then do it again. This is really the only world you probably have to backtrack to because you need those speedy sneakers from Gobi's Valley to be able to win that second round. I'll give an extra shout out to the score. I mean, I love every track in this game. Grant Kirkhope is a legend and turns everything he touches into melodic gold. The music and sound design in Banjo-Kazooie is such an integral part of the game, but I'd be frostbitten and ashamed not to at least throw some love at it here. In this world's music, it's like someone melted down Christmas joy into notes and sprinkled it with sleigh bells and pure N64 magic. The soundtrack doesn't just fit the world, it elevates it. Already a fantastic level, but once that holiday jingle hits, it's damn near perfection. What really sets Freeze Easy Peak apart as a snow level is just how deeply it commits to the holiday spirit. The whole world is basically a playable Christmas village, complete with twinkling lights, giant ornaments, oversized gifts, and a soundtrack that feels like it was plucked straight out of Rankin and Bays. They did their homework for this, and they did not give us coal in our stockings. It celebrates its theme. This is Banjo-Kazooie doing a full send on Christmas, and it's amazing. It's so festive you could practically smell the peppermint cocoa through your CRT. Compared to other icy levels and platformers, which are often frustrating, slippery messes, Freeze Easy Peak does it right. The controls stay tight, the challenges feel fair, and the world is packed with personality instead of cheap tricks. It's proof that a snow level can be fun, memorable, and actually worth replaying. That's just that classic rare magic. Freeze-Easy Peak is a perfect chill. It's an unforgettable dream of a world and totally deserving of second place on this list. I absolutely love this level. It's one of my favorites in all of gaming. There's a lot of people that claim that this is their favorite level in the game, and honestly, I can understand that. But there's just one more world in Banjo-Kazooie that I dare say is even better. All hail Plankton, long live the king. The final world you reach in Gruntilda's lair is also the goatest of goats. Click Clock Wood ain't just a stage, it's the whole banquet, the after party, and the cab ride home. One massive tree at the center, 4 different seasons, and an endless buffet of magic, charm, and holy crap did I just fall all the way down again. I don't even know where else to begin, man. I'm talking my favorite level and my favorite video game right now. The pressure feels on. I don't know if I can do this. You know what? This is too much. I'm out. I quit. I'm leaving.
Yeah? Do what? What do you mean you need me to narrate the rest of your Banjo-Kazooie video? What the hell is a TikTok Wood? Dude, I never even played this game before. What am I supposed to work off of? There's no script. Okay, fine. Could you please just give me some pointers? What? Geronimo turns you into a what? But why? You're a bird. Why don't you just fly? Dude, this game is stupid.
Haha! You thought I was done? Of course I want to talk about this level. Click Clack Wood is not only the crown jewel of Banjo-Kazooie, it's my favorite 3D platforming level of all time. This place that Rare built is a full-on biodome. One colossal tree, all of the 4 seasons, each cycling and evolving in the same space. You're not just running through a static stage, you're watching an ecosystem breathe. You get spring blossoms, summer sun, autumn leaves, winter chill, all in one level. It's a late 90s masterpiece. No one was doing this kind of thing back then. Hell, barely anyone's doing it now. Click Clock Wood is easily the biggest world in the game, and it takes the longest to finish out of all the 9 worlds. For me, it takes about twice as long to 100% this place compared to the others, and honestly, I don't mind that. If anything, I kinda love it. Click Clock Wood is like this massive, cheerful send-off right before things get real in the endgame. Right before you reach Gruntilda, you get this vibrant, living world that just makes you smile, man. It's got that golden age of animation and cartoon feel. Like, it kinda reminds me of the Splash Mountain ride in Disney World. It's got some serious zippity-doo-dah vibes up in here. Kinda like I mentioned a little earlier, I gotta be fair and acknowledge that not only do I love this level more, I love the entire game more now that you can play on the Switch or the Xbox version and not have to die and lose all your notes and Jinjos. Cause back on the N64, this level was really bad with that due to the length of it. But nowadays, there's nothing to really complain about, so quit your squawking, I don't wanna hear it. What's wild is how all the seasons cycle in a way that feels natural and connected. You don't just pick a season and play it once, you keep coming back, watching the world evolve, discovering new things each time. And that's why it takes me twice as long to 100% this world, because you can't just rush through it. You want to savor every moment, every season, every secret nook and cranny. You start off in spring, everything feels fresh, bright, and full of promise. You got flowers blooming everywhere, birds chirping, and little critters scurrying about like the world's just starting to breathe again. It's the perfect season to explore. There's an energy here that makes you feel like anything's possible, like the start of an adventure that's just about to get better. Naturally, the best banjo level in the game is gonna have our homie Mambo number 5 ready to give you a little bit of honey buzzing in your life. Because once again, everyone hates you two. Help out the beaver at the bottom of the moat. And then swim into his little home later in fall for your reward. I'm done with this line, I'm not redoing it. Help out Squirrel Boy with all his nuts scattered across the autumn world. Collect the Jinjos throughout all the seasons of the year. Oh yeah, remember Gobi? I told you he'd be back. Time to piss him off again and make him rage quit the game. Deadass, he's out. Gone. See you next in the sequel. Probably the greatest little side story in the entire game is that bird. The one you hatch from its egg and care for throughout the seasons. You feed it caterpillars and then let it rest. watching it grow stronger and more vibrant with each passing day. Season by season, it transforms from a fragile hatchling into a majestic adult eagle. And then, at last, it spreads its wings and takes flight, soaring free through the branches. Sometimes these silly little games surprise you, sneaking in moments so genuinely beautiful. It's hands down my favorite Jiggy in the whole game. But it's not just the seasons or the size, it's the feeling. The whole level wraps you up in this warm, happy vibe that makes you forget you're even playing a game. It's nostalgia, it's magic, it's childhood summer days and cozy fall afternoons all rolled into one. And then, when you finally grab that last Jiggy, it's like you're saying goodbye to a place you don't actually want to leave. You've walked this tree in every season, watched its characters grow, helped them through their little dramas, and seen the whole cycle of life play out in this one enchanted corner of the Banjo-Kazooie universe. It's rare, pun intended, to find a video game level that feels less like a stage and more like a home you've been visiting all year. The music shifts, the colors change, the challenges evolve, but the soul of Click Clack Wood stays the same. It's the kind of level that makes me remember why I fell in love with video games in the first place. There's really not a wrong way to go about this. All these levels are great, and Banjo-Kazooie is a gem. Alright, that's a wrap, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then show some respect by smacking that like button and hitting subscribe. And if you hated this video, then call me a jackass in the comments or something. Negative vibes only. But also let me know your ranking in the comments. Until next time, everyone, take it easy.